To go in your own way and fail is better than to go in someone else's way and succeed. You may be surprised and taken aback by what I am saying, and I don't blame you. When I saw it for the first time, I thought to myself, who is so dumb that they would choose failure over success? After thinking about it for some time, I got my answer. A wise man. An expert is someone who knows everything in their field. Consequently, an expert is someone who has failed in every single possible way imaginable and learned from it. Of course, you can learn from the mistakes of others and just learn by learning, but the most effective way to learn, the way to get it truly stuck in your head, is to fail at that thing and learn from your mistake right then and there. Having failed at that thing and experienced the consequences firsthand, like being told what's wrong with X, is different than experiencing what's wrong with it. We watch the consequences of bad actions like robbing a bank, which is going to prison, but we don't actually experience going to prison. Now, I know what you're thinking. We all know that we shouldn't rob a bank. Well, let me ask you something. Why do people still do it? And why do people do it more than once? That's because desperate times, you may say, yeah, you're right. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but like robbing a bank, you can get a 9 to 5. You can, if you already have a 9 to 5, you can try to start something on the side. You decided to rob a bank. The idea seems wrong in everyone's minds, but to that one person trying to convince themselves that it's okay and that their actions are justified, he doesn't see it as wrong anymore. He convinces himself that it is the right thing to do, and he does it. When he does it and gets caught, for example, he feels reality hit him so hard and he snaps out of the state he was in. He realizes that he's facing the consequences of his actions as he is being cuffed and sent to prison. Let's say he gets sentenced to 10 years, okay? And after 10 years, he gets out of prison. He already feels like he has wasted most of his life, but he keeps his head up. Fast forward a couple of years later, he is in the same situation, desperate times. Do you think he's going to rob the bank again? Of course not. He hasn't only witnessed the consequences, he hasn't only like watched TV shows or like movies about it. He has lived them. And that shows that he shouldn't do it again. And it's all in the subconscious. Let's say the same guy robs the bank and gets away with it. He hasn't experienced the consequences of a failed bank robbery. Instead, he has experienced the consequences of actually getting away with it. And he's living in paradise. He loves his life. Robbing a bank is overrated, he thinks to himself. You know, he has robbed the bank once and he's gotten away with it. Now he's rich. He gets into a desperate time and because he got sudden fortune. Even with like lottery winners, they all go bankrupt and they all become poor again if they were rich because they don't know how to invest that money properly. So he gets into a desperate time again and he immediately thinks of robbing a bank. Why? Because he has experienced the good side of it. So he's convinced that if he did it once, he can do it again. Doesn't matter how much he tries to deny those thoughts, even if he knows they're stupid. But he just can't help it. He has convinced himself and he truly believes that there is no other side to the coin, even if he knows that there is. This man has blinded himself to reality of the situation and will do it again. Like eventually, and he will do it again until he eventually gets himself caught. Let's say you live your life following others, okay? You are tiptoeing around your life, but you haven't failed a single time. People look up to you with great admiration and envy because you always do the right thing, you always know what to do. They all want to be like you. Whenever you face a problem, you turn to others, your friends, colleagues, anyone, and just ask them what the best step is to take. After you accumulate their answers, you come up you come to a decision and go with it. You figure that this is the best decision possible because people said so. Do you see what's wrong here? You are not living your life. Other people are living it for you. If someone were to purposefully give you the wrong advice because they wanted you to fail, you'd be done for. you'll lose the ability to think for yourself and come up with solutions because all you have been doing is collecting answers from people and deciding fully based on those answers. You don't even give your brain a chance to think. You just collect answers and go with the best one. You haven't failed, but you haven't succeeded either. Who really hasn't failed are the people. It's like not your life anymore. You don't have control over it. You have allowed your life to be dictated by other people's opinions on the situations. You you haven't failed. You haven't succeeded. You haven't even tried. You've done nothing and will continue to do nothing as long as you keep relying on others. Experts are not born experts. In fact, they are born like all of us, helpless babies dependent on everyone around them to survive. They don't learn from only what they observe. They learn by failing and trying again, but this time knowing what to do in that particular situation if they fail again. They're going to try again, knowing where they went wrong, and if they are unable to pinpoint the cause of failure, they are not afraid to ask or do research regarding it. Asking for advice is different than asking on what to do, because what to do, just you're going to do the thing exactly as they say it. But like advice, you can choose to take it or not. At least that's my perception. It's a journey on its own. You don't know everything, and you have to come to terms with that. You can either accept it into your life right now, or you'll realize it like let's say in 20 or 30 years when it's too late to do something. It's never too late to do anything, no matter your age, situation. Something can always be done. Something that moves you towards your goal. Going in your own way and failing is far better than going in someone else's way and succeeding, because the more you learn from your mistakes, the less mistakes you make. But people are afraid. They don't want to make mistakes because they don't want to show themselves as those people who are bound to like make mistakes, or they just want to show themselves as the fearless, confident person, always right, the know it all, whatever. In reality, they appear as cowards. They look in the mirror and they see a fraud, a coward who isn't confident enough to say, I don't know, but I'm going to try anyways. They don't take risks, and honestly, risks are what makes life beautiful. You know, would you want to be the one tiptoeing around afraid of danger, not even living his life, not even in full control of his life? Or the one confidently walking, knowing if they're getting knocked down, they can just as easily get back up again? Of course, we are all in favor of being in the latter. And that's normal, because we want to live an interesting life. You come into this life naked, nothing, no clothes, no material, no possessions, no nothing. So you aren't risking anything. Even if you die with only a shirt on, you've already come out with a win. May not be a big win or a win that you desire, but you didn't get the win you desire because you didn't take more risks in your life. You let other people decide what you should do. It's like you made your life a video game that others can play. Every second counts, and you won't ever get that second back. So spend your time wisely and try to be as independent as you can, because relying on people is just not the best thing to do overall.